Hey Pisces, welcome to Aria Moon Tarot, and thank you so much for being here. This is your love reading for anyone with sun, moon, or rising in Pisces. It's a general reading, so take what resonates and leave what doesn't. If it doesn't, check your other placements. All right, let's get started. So let's see. The first card we have is the Self. Wow, I'm already picking up on like a ton of self-discovery for you. We'll have to look and see what else we get, but yeah. We have the Shadow. The River. And your final card is the Mask. Okay. Definitely that feeling that came through with the Self card. This card can have a lot of different meanings, but in this context, I really think that there's a lot of discovery going on for you. I think that this is kind of a period of your life where you're not only learning a lot about yourself, but I think that maybe for the first time ever, you're accepting a lot about yourself. I think you're learning to truly love yourself and to value yourself and really kind of pinpointing and honing in on those special skills, those special gifts, special insights that are yours and yours alone. This also gives me the energy of someone who's learning to put themselves first a little bit more. So I think that you're probably a very giving person, and you're probably somebody that's always looking out for those around you. But it feels to me like you're pouring a little bit more energy back into yourself now, and this is going to be a big shift for you. And I think the biggest thing that you're going to notice is how much more energized you feel and how much more you can accomplish in terms of the goals and the personal achievements that you've set out for when you're pouring more of that energy back into yourself. So in this card, I'm just kind of drawn to this little like pearl that's kind of in the center, and this is kind of between, for me, kind of between the heart space and the throat, but it feels a lot like this is about really nurturing something that's inside of you. This can be about speaking more of your truth as well, and it can be about honoring your heart. So I'm really picking up on a lot of throat chakra, a lot of heart chakra energy, and for me, there's a connection there. Like there's a connection between feeling what really resonates true for you and what is uniquely yours, and then also expressing it. So you might be entering a period of more self-expression. And I really like how in this picture, it really looks like a pearl. I think it's meant to be a pearl, but it definitely looks like a pearl to me. And a pearl is something that is precious. It's something that takes a while to form. And it kind of feels like that's what's going on with you. Like it might have taken you a while to get to this place. It might have taken you a while to be formed into this beautiful pearl. But it's like not only are you realizing this aspect of yourself, but you're also really able to nurture it and to express it. So I think this is a gigantic shift for you, and I'm just curious like what you're going to be able to do once you are knowing yourself on this deep level and accepting yourself on this deep level, like how much more you can achieve and accomplish. I think that for a lot of you, you may have been in a period prior to this new energy that's coming in where there were pieces of you that you kind of neglected, or there were pieces of you that you pushed away, maybe things that didn't seem to fit, maybe things that you didn't think fit in with the rest of, it could be society as a whole, it could be with your family, with your partner. There could just be pieces of you that it feels like they got kind of shoved away into a dark corner. And this feels like a real journey of self-discovery where you're pulling that stuff back out. We have the Shadow here. So the Shadow is about looking in those dark places, looking in those almost like, sometimes they can be scary places, but it's like, I like to think of them as like places that are unvisited. So it doesn't necessarily have to scare you, but I feel like there's a certain amount of anxiety that kind of builds when something is unknown. So if you think of yourself as, let's say, like this big mansion, and maybe this mansion is just too huge for you to ever explore. Like, you could never regularly hang out in all of the rooms of this place. This is kind of like sometimes what I see the self as. There's all of these nooks and crannies, and it's hard to really spend time to focus, to take care of all of these aspects of ourselves. So if we're back to the mansion analogy, if you're in this huge mansion, there might be rooms that really collect a lot of dust, and rooms that the longer you don't kind of venture into them, the more anxiety might build about what's behind that door. And I feel like that's what happens with our shadow. Like, sometimes it's not things that we're necessarily too afraid to look at, but it can be parts of ourselves that we have kept hidden away for so long that there is kind of a little bit of anxiety. Like, it might not be full on fear, but it can be like, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. If I open that door, I'm not really sure what I might find. This feels to me like you're entering a place where you're okay with seeing what's behind the door. You're okay with finding out what's going on with you, maybe in some of these places that you were a little bit nervous to look before. This also, to me, is about expressing some of these shadow aspects of ourselves. So it can be maybe some of our darker thoughts, or it can also be some of our thoughts that don't fall in line with the general view. So sometimes these can become shadow aspects of our personality just because they don't fit in. So it's something that we kind of shove away, or something that we keep out of the light. We kind of keep them hidden for ourselves. So I think you're looking at yourself from all angles, and not even being afraid to find what's there, what's hidden away in that room, which is really brave. And I think it's going to improve your journey, your self-discovery journey a lot when you start looking into some of these shadow aspects of yourself. Something that's interesting with this idea of the shadow can always lead us to places of ourselves that we reject, and we can often reject areas of ourselves, parts of ourselves. We can reject these things because we felt that they were rejected by somebody who was close to us. So these can be things that you hid away because it didn't seem to be accepted or acceptable to those around you. But I think what we find when we start looking closer at these parts of ourselves that we are not letting out to play, I kind of want to say, is that when we're in this spirit of rejecting parts of ourselves, we also are rejecting parts of the greater whole, because we are a part of the greater whole. So sometimes we can push these things aside so that we can fit in a little bit better. But I think in the end, we discover that we're creating a separation between us and the whole, us and the world, us and that universal force, which actually causes more separation. So I'm picking up on for you that this journey of self-discovery is also putting you in a place that is letting you be a lot more connected to the world as a whole. Because as you kind of dig deeper and you find all of these parts of yourself that are more hidden, maybe they're beautiful, like, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but as you discover these new areas of yourself, you can also connect with people a lot better, because you can understand parts of them that you weren't able to understand before, because you've seen a little bit of that in yourself, and you've accepted that in yourself. So I think that it's really important that we don't always look at the shadow as something that's bad. The shadow is more aptly described, I think, as something that's neglected a lot of the time. It's not necessarily bad. Like, one of those rooms in the giant mansion could be the most beautiful room, the most comfortable room, the best room with the best view. But it could just be neglected, and it could just be that, like, you need to clean it up a little bit. But it really could be one of the most beautiful parts of that gigantic house. And just like with you, some of these shadow aspects, or these parts of you that you've pushed away, they might be the most beautiful parts of yourself. So you are in the process of discovering these beautiful parts of yourself and really giving them some airtime, like really, really letting them out. And I think moving into a place where you feel more comfortable sharing these things. I think it all starts with the self though. So first you're going to share some of this stuff with yourself and then it will probably filter out to things that you can share with other people. Yeah, I feel like a lot of you might be coming out of a period of isolation in a way, and this could just be the energy of the shadow, like bringing these shadow aspects out of isolation. But if you have felt isolated as a whole, like if you've just felt like you aren't socializing as much as you would want to, maybe you're not forming the connections that you would want to, or some of your relationships and some of the connections that are important to you have fallen away, I think that this is really a time that you're going to start welcoming some of this back in. And it really starts with self-acceptance. Like, it's so much easier for us to interact with other people when we fully accept ourselves, because we're happy to share like the journey that we're on. We will share where we are in life and what we're excited about. But when we are hiding away, it's really hard to form these deep connections. So I see some beautiful connections coming into your life as you kind of blossom and as you... I'm drawn back to this pearl. So it's almost like as this pearl is sort of emerging from beneath the surface, it's something that you can more easily offer out into the world, whatever that means to you. This could be something that you want to give to the world, something you want to produce, or this can be you offering your authentic self to form really deep bonds, friendships, connections, maybe even deepen existing bonds like family bonds. I do feel like there's also an energy with this River card. There's kind of an energy of releasing a lot of judgment and not suppressing yourself. So I know a lot of us just carry around shame. Sometimes we know where that shame came from, and sometimes we're not even sure, but this feels like a real cleansing energy and like releasing a lot of guilt or shame, releasing a lot of the reasons that you may have come up with in the past for not fully expressing yourself. And this can also be about oppression from an outside force lifting. So if you've had anything in your life or any person in your life that's felt like it kind of holds you back or holds you down, and this doesn't have to be a person. This can be really as simple as a job that holds you down, that doesn't allow you to express, that doesn't allow you to be the creative soul that you are, where you feel like you're being kind of smothered, or it's really the energy of like not thriving. It's like the energy of a plant in a dark room. That can be really oppressive energy. A plant needs light, and there's sort of this feeling with this energy of like, if there's something in your life that has felt like it's this dark cloud kind of hanging over you, kind of keeping you from finding that thriving energy, that's something that's going to be removed from your life. And I want to say that it's almost like you're entering a period of self-observation, which is really interesting, because I think that what you're doing a lot is like you're just noticing yourself. You're just noticing how you feel about certain things, and you're coming to terms with it in a way. Like you're just watching, like without judgment. And this might be the first time that you're able to do that, to watch just who you are and who you're becoming, and to not have any shame or judgment attached to that. It's just a simple observation. Yeah, this feels like really beautiful energy, and almost like you're lifting up out of something that was holding you back and kind of holding you down for a while. It feels like you're getting to be the real you for maybe the first time. If not the very first time, maybe the first time in a long time. Like or maybe you knowing yourself on a deeper level, to where now it feels that you can be authentic because you actually know how you want to authentically show up in the world. This Mask card, I can interpret this a lot of different ways in this scenario. So this can mean that this was kind of like the mask that you may have been wearing to cover up. Like you could almost think of this mask as something that goes over the shadow. And maybe this is the you that you've presented to the world to kind of hide this part, to hide parts of yourself that you didn't feel comfortable letting out. So this could be about you dropping that mask and really stepping into an authentic place and not wearing that mask anymore. But what's really interesting about this card is that the message that this card brings is it actually asks us to contemplate the possibility that the mask might actually permit or like aid our true identity in being revealed. So you can think about the mask in two totally different ways. The mask can either hide and conceal the true you, or the mask can actually allow you to express yourself. It kind of challenges us to explore the idea that the mask can give a voice to a part of us that was previously rejected or that was hidden away. So let's see, the most basic, let me try to think of a really simple example because it's actually kind of a strange concept, but let's say, just to keep it in terms of like a mask, like let's say a person that when they wear like a full face of makeup and they feel really confident when they have their makeup done in a particular way, and it doesn't even have to be a full face of makeup. It could be that they like to do their eyeliner in a particular way and they feel really confident and they feel like they look really good when they have that eye makeup on. And when they go out into the world, they're able to exude confidence. They're able to like kind of tap into that part of them that is really confident, that feels really confident. And it's like that mask allows them to do that. So you have to kind of take that as it resonates. And maybe this is a call for you to explore different ways that you can use this mask. If the mask has been something that's been covering up and hiding the true you, then this is kind of a message that that mask is falling away and that the true you is going to be able to shine through. But if it's that you need a little bit of a boost in certain areas, and this is a call for you to find ways that you can develop more confidence or more self-esteem, certain things that kind of bolster all of that for you. And you might already be figuring that out. That could be why this message is coming out, because there might be certain things in your life that you're like, you know what, I figured out if I have this certain mindset when I go into this situation, I can do a lot better and I'm a lot more confident. Or if I make sure that I'm wearing these particular jeans that I feel really good in, then things really go my way. So it really could be taken, both ways, and really both messages might be applicable to you. It might not be one or the other. It could be that you can use the idea of the mask in certain scenarios to help you and to actually help you feel more yourself and be more yourself and present the version of you that you want to present in the world. And it can also be that you can drop it sometimes and you can just let the true you shine. So yeah, definitely take that one as it resonates. Yeah. I think that the main thing is, like, when this mask card shows up, it's really a call to put whatever part of you that's seeking to be expressed into action and into motion, and let that side of you out. So if the mask holds that part back, let the mask go. If the mask helps that part to shine through, then utilize it. That's kind of the message there. So for some reason, and it might be all this talk of the mask or something, but for some reason, for this group, I get like actor or actress vibes a lot. If that's something that you've been pursuing, maybe it's something you've been a little bit afraid of. This would be a message and confirmation for you that you are good enough and that you should let that side of you come out and you should share it with the world. So, of course, this could extend past acting, but that message was coming through for someone. So I wanted to say it because, yeah, because it's coming through so strong. And if you are not in that sort of field, if you don't feel that calling towards some kind of performance, then really you can still use the analogy to help you understand the message and how to apply it to your life. Because if the person in question, we'll say this self, if this self is truly an actor or an actress and truly wants to perform, then putting on this mask and portraying a certain character is that person stepping into their truest identity, because they want to be a performer and they want to convey a message through this art form. So in that case, the mask really helps their true self to come out. And if you can just apply that to your situation, then you'll kind of see what I mean, that the mask is, you know, I feel almost like it's a double-edged sword. I feel like the imagery on this card is very appropriate, and I'm kind of seeing it in a different way as the messages for this reading come through. Because on one side, we have this kind of like more brightly colored scenario, and you know, we see half of the mask, and on the other side we have complete darkness. So it's like there are two parts of the mask. There's a kind of a light side and a dark side to this mask. And I think in general, that's what you're discovering about yourself. There's a light side and a dark side to you. There are shadow aspects of your personality, and there are bright, sunny parts of your personality. And putting those together as a whole is where you're really going to shine, because every part of you is deserving of being expressed to the world. Every part of you is valuable. Even some of the parts that you may have tried to not express in the past. That's actually a lot of messages from your first card. So we can jump into the tarot. What I do want to just reiterate here is that this is really kind of overwhelmingly about self-acceptance, and it's about leaving behind some of the stuff that's no longer necessary in our lives. It's truly accepting ourselves, accepting the good, accepting the bad, accepting even past mistakes that we've made, and being able to move forward and being able to integrate all of that into the self and just the person that we are becoming. So it's actually a pretty big journey that you're on. You're probably already on this journey a little bit. I'd be surprised if you didn't have any indication of any of this happening in you, because this feels like a transformation that can kind of slowly work its way into your life. But I think you're approaching a time when you can really start to implement some of this stuff because of the way these messages are showing up for you. So let's see what else we can pull out of this from the tarot. So what messages do you have? Okay, your card went onto the floor. Let me grab it. Okay, we have the Five of Cups. So I'm just going to put that right there. Yeah, okay. Let's see what else. The Six of Wands. I love to see the Six of Wands, especially in a reading like this, because sometimes some of this deep transformative work can seem like it could be never ending, and you don't know when you're going to reach the end of this journey and when you're going to finally arrive. And of course, self-improvement, discovery, and growth is going to be a lifelong mission, a lifelong journey. But we do like to reach some level of achievement when it comes to these things and know that we're on the right track. Okay, we have the Spirit of Pentacles. That's King of Pentacles energy. And we'll get one more card. Okay. All right. With this Five of Cups energy, I feel like a lot of you could be putting or have put a lot of pressure on yourself about how things have worked out for you in the past. some of you could have been filled with a lot of regret about things that did not pan out the way that you wanted them to. And it's like you've been holding on to a lot of guilt over this. So we were looking at that kind of with the River card. There's a feeling of being washed clean with the River card, of a lot of acceptance and kind of just purifying the energy around things. So this, I feel like for a lot of you, this guilt could be in like maybe worrying about decisions that you made before, worrying that you might have made the wrong decision somewhere along the road, or worrying that you won't succeed at something. And I feel like you're moving to a place where you can release all of this, because we're holding on to, I feel like when we hold on to a lot of this, a lot of these negative emotions, and we relive the past, that we're kind of beating ourselves up and being so incredibly hard on ourselves. And that's how a lot of this stuff gets shoved over into like more of these shadow aspects, because they get shoved over into the dark because they're uncomfortable. They're things that we don't want to look at. This feels like a lot of progress to me, because the way this Five of Cups came out with the Self, I just see that there was like a strong association in the past with worry and maybe guilt and shame over things that happened before. So it's almost like you felt tethered to some past decisions that you made or some things that didn't work out. And it's like you carry that around with you, thinking that, oh, I should have done this, I should have said that, I should have handled this differently. I regret not making that choice, or not going. It could literally be anything. It could be, I didn't go to school and I regret that. I should have continued my studies. And you kind of just carry that guilt around with you. Or I might not succeed at this. I might not be good enough. I might not have what it takes. And always kind of having those thoughts. But this is kind of the energy of you releasing that. So this would be kind of separating the self from all of these past circumstances and realizing that none of that defines you. Decisions that you could have made in the past and didn't, maybe mistakes that you did make or things that you view as a mistake, things that didn't work out, like it doesn't define you, and it certainly doesn't mean that you're going to continue to experience these things in the future. And the best way to not experience these things is to separate yourself from the association of some kind of lack or some type of feeling of not being worthy or not being good enough. So you're really moving out of that energy and focusing more on this pearl that you have inside of you, focusing more on what's growing inside of you and what's beautiful inside of you, and how everything that has led you to this place has been perfect. Like it has all contributed to the formation of this pearl. It's all been perfect. And I think you're starting to see that as you explore your own identity a little bit more. Like I was saying when I was shuffling, like the Six of Wands is, I love to see this card, especially in a scenario like this, because this shows me that any work that you're doing to release past guilt, past shame, past trauma, just even hurtful memories that can kind of plague you, negative scenarios that replay and replay and replay on your mind. This is like getting victory over that and finding success. So I know that you're going to come out of this and that you are going to find a place where you feel really comfortable in your own skin. You may have already reached this place because you are having the Six of Wands victory here. I think that the time that you have spent self-reflecting, I think all of that is going to turn out to be very, very beneficial for you. So if there has been kind of this dark period, this period where you have been more into the shadow aspects, into the reflecting on everything that's happened in your life or what's going on right now in your life, it's going to turn out that these things are actually really beneficial, and that time that you spent, you're going to be able to use in a very positive direction. because it's reflection and getting in touch with your shadow side and kind of confronting a lot of these demons and a lot of this regret or past hurt, it's really going to bring you to a place of victory. It's going to bring you right into that Six of Wands energy. So none of that time is wasted. And it's also, it's not meant to be negative. It should not be viewed as negative any time that you've spent kind of discovering yourself. I think that this is what you're able to offer to the world now, and you're able to do it way more confidently because you've spent the time to look in all of the corners and to find out everything there is to know about yourself. We have the Spirit of Pentacles here. So some of the self-expression that you're learning about and the self-acceptance could be tied to your place in the world. It could be tied to your success and your abundance in the world. Maybe some of the worry or the anxiety about not being able to be enough has to do with your ability to provide for yourself or to create some sort of stability for yourself. And this is really saying that learning to love yourself and honoring yourself and pretty much everything that you have to bring to the world, learning to honor that, that's really going to create a lot of material abundance in your life. So this is kind of, this makes me think of somebody who maybe doesn't take a very straight path toward their goal. You might be a person that has felt like you've wandered a little bit, and maybe it wasn't like so clear cut. It definitely wasn't a cookie cutter journey, but it feels like you reached this really abundant place through maybe like going off the beaten path a little bit, maybe not doing exactly what was expected of you, or even exactly what you expected yourself to do. And you're able to kind of look back on it and think, well, this really developed me into this person. Or you can see how you wouldn't be on the particular journey that you're on. Maybe you wouldn't even be in the field that you're in if you hadn't sort of deviated from this path. So it's like a winding road that leads you to where you're really supposed to be. I think that for some of you, this is about a passion that you would really like to pursue. This would be something that you feel really deep in your soul and that you feel really truly calls to you and expresses some true part of yourself. So you would know if it's this passionate force that you feel. The Spirit of Pentacles really represents final fulfillment when it comes to something creative, when it comes to a business venture as well. So this could have something to do with a big investment. This could also be an indication that some investment that you've made is going to pay off in the near future. And I also see this as the energy of you kind of like getting a hold of your finances, like getting on top of your finances, whether that means making a lot more money, because it certainly could mean that. It could be learning how to invest or learning how to manage your money better. So that could be a huge change that's coming for you. This Eight of Swords energy is all about self-limiting beliefs. So, I feel like with your Five of Cups and your Eight of Swords, this is kind of this energy of like not necessarily knowing if you can always believe in yourself, and you're totally moving past that. I can't think of a stronger card for you than the Spirit of Pentacles when it comes to this, especially if your concerns or your doubts have any root in material abundance or being able to provide or having a stable foundation. This is like you're releasing these limiting beliefs and you're finding out that you can do a whole lot more than you realized. You can utilize this mask to your advantage. You can use it to help you succeed. I think that for a lot of us, these limiting beliefs can be the things that we tell ourselves that really just aren't true. And I think as you start to discover yourself, this pearl here is the truth. Like this is the true essence of you. And these Eight of Swords beliefs are a lie. And In a lot of ways, that's kind of like I was talking about the double-edged sword of the mask. The mask can be the truth, or the mask can be a lie. And you are the one that can decide that for yourself. You know that for yourself. It's important for us to remember that there's really only one of us. You know, only one of us has been created. There's only one of you. So if you don't step into the role of being that true self and being that person that you were meant to be, then no one else will do it, and no one else can do it. So let's see what messages there are for you. Oh, okay. I had 2 cards come out. Let's see. So we have endless possibilities. That's so appropriate. And the land between. Endless possibilities. When you embrace your true self, as you are doing, the possibilities are really endless. It's such a beautiful sign for you. And this is really saying that when you start believing in yourself and when you start accepting yourself, the sky is the limit. There's really no limit to what you can achieve. Your guides are acknowledging that this transition isn't a piece of cake. Like, it's not, like, none of this is to say that this is easy, and this is probably a journey that you're already on, so you know that it's not necessarily always the easiest thing, but it is a beautiful thing, and it's a necessary thing. Really, that message is coming through even stronger with this land between. So the land between card is all about being in this state of almost limbo. So it's about journeying from what was to what is becoming. And I think that's kind of the phase that most of you are in. You're in this in-between time where you have released a lot of this baggage from your past, and where you're releasing some of these false masks that you may have worn. But you might not be quite into the brand new energy yet. So you can't quite settle into it, but you know that you're going there. You know where you're headed. And it can be a little bit of an awkward spot. It can be hard to make that transition, and certainly hard to stay with it, because it's so easy for us to want to run right back. And I feel like in your case, it would be like running back into the shadow. Just want to run right back to what's familiar and what's comfortable, but we have to get more comfortable in that in-between space. We have to get more comfortable in the journey of becoming, in that transition phase. So that's definitely a little bit of encouragement from your guides that, like, you're okay. Even if you feel like the transition can be really difficult sometimes, and like you might be losing your mind sometimes, you're okay, and you are headed toward where you want to go. So I pulled a few advice cards for you. You had 3 cards come out, so let's see what kind of advice your guides had for you when it comes to these changes that are coming into your life. So we have create. Some of you may be creative souls, and there might be some kind of art form that you want to explore, and this is really encouragement to do that. I think as you're tapping into your true self, creativity is something that's just going to come really naturally to you, and you're going to want to express yourself. You first, yeah. That's kind of that energy of the self. This is about putting yourself first, putting your true self first, and time to process. I think a lot of you might need some time to kind of process all of this and process this transition, but I really was picking up on the fact that a lot of you have taken this time to process, and that's that shadow work that we were discussing. It has taken time for you to get to this place, but you're kind of processing and integrating everything you're learning about yourself and putting it together in this beautiful way. And I do think that a lot of creativity is going to pour from you when you really tap into this pearl energy here. Endless possibilities are waiting for you. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up the reading there. Thank you so much for joining me, hanging out with me, letting me read your cards. If you liked this reading, don't forget to like it, leave me a comment down below, and hit that subscribe button if you feel like it. And hopefully I will see you again in another reading really soon. Bye!